Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Can you remember the last time we won a bit of silverware? What was it, 1980, Moose?
I was
Cup,
there.
wasn't it?
The FA Cup, Trevor Brooking.
I was there the 10th of May, 1980, Brookings header, and it was a phenomenal day. And if you'd have told me that walking out from Wembley that day, it would be 43 years till West Ham won another trophy, I thought you were mad. But listen, West Ham now have a great chance. If they're 90 minutes away from a final, Basel 2-1 up against Fiorentina in the other semi. Prague is going to be invaded by West Ham fans. I mean,
It's only a small stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, scandalous. Absolutely stupid. I mean, you either want this tournament to be taken seriously and people not to sort of joke about it and teams not to sort of field weakened sides and really have a go. What's the point in having it in a stadium that's barely bigger than Torquays? I mean, honestly, you've got to put it in proper stadium.
Whose ground is it, Moose? Do you know, in Prague? So Bohemians?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one exactly is, but it holds 22,000. And I think by the time FIFA had taken tickets for their FIFA family and sponsors and whatever, I think West Ham are expecting 5,000.
That's a joke.
5,000.
There was talk about among some of the fans last night.
Madness.
At the ground that they might get another 2 or 3 in addition. But I mean, even that. I mean, West Ham have what? 30,000 season ticket holders. I mean, how on earth are they going to divvy up? I mean, someone you know very well, the former chef at Arsenal was at the game last night. I saw him, and he was already saying how he's trying desperately to get tickets. The guy I was with last night had been trying all avenues. I mean, West Ham aren't even there yet, and people are already working out how on earth they're going to get a ticket.
Be a good weekend, though.
Oh, it'd be a brilliant weekend. Moose, tell me how great was the atmosphere last night?
I thought the atmosphere was phenomenal. I really did. I thought the team could have given more in the first half. I found the performance curious. I mean, you've got a fan base who are at fever pitch at the beginning, and yet in the first half, West Ham were poor. Let Alkmaar have way too much of the ball. I think the goalkeeper should save the goal. Although I did think it was a foul in the build-up.
Do you know what, Moose? I was a bit when I watched it. I thought maybe that he saves that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to dig Areola out too much because I thought last season in particular in the Europa League he made some sensational saves. I remember a couple over in Seville in particular. And actually, he's not a bad keeper. And to be fair, Fabianski's had a couple of dodgy performances, most notably recently the one at home to Newcastle. So, and it happens with goalkeepers. So I'm really not going to dig him out over that. I just thought that it took until the penalty was given. And it was absolutely a penalty when the goalkeeper has done an impression of Frank Bruno on Jared Bowen and smacked him in the face. So it was 100% a penalty. Benrahma was never going to miss. And once West Ham got level, they looked like they could go on and get 2 or 3. So, I think next week, keep it tight for an hour, and they should be heading to Prague with no problems.
And it should be, the team selection would be interesting the weekend, wouldn't it, Moose? I'm sure David Moyes will be saying, look, my key players, I've got to keep them fresh. This is they're going to stay up now, which is the most important thing for the club. They've got enough points. You've got to rest all your players and make sure that second leg, they go there and they start on the front foot. As you rightly said there, they've got to start a bit faster, haven't they?
Yep, I don't want to see any of the 11 playing next week starting. I don't mind if they come on for a few minutes for a bit of a limber up against Brentford on Sunday. Game I'll be at actually for talkSPORT. But, I don't want to see any of the 11 starting. There's no point. West Ham are safe.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Forget about mathematically this and mathematically that. The teams at the bottom are not going to win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 they've got left. The reason why they're at the bottom is because they're rubbish. They're not going to start winning games at this stage of the season, right? West Ham are saying, let's just play anybody. Give me a game if you want, David. But let's make sure that everybody who is key to that performance next week in Alkmaar is nice and rested. Nice little one of those little snug things they have on. Pamper them to the nth degree. Maybe even give them the weekend off. Let them be at home watching on TV with their families. But I mean, there's no point now. Premier League points, we've got enough. Don't need any more. West Ham are absolutely fine. Let's just go to Alkmaar and win that game.
How many tickets you got for Alkmaar? Because I'm sure there's a big following going out to Holland as well.
I don't think it's. I think it's a small number. I was told last night by somebody again that it's something like 900 or 1,000. Because don't forget that you only get a certain percentage of the stadium. So I'm not sure it's that big an amount, but I mean, whoever goes, and it's quite close to Amsterdam actually, Alkmaar. So I think whoever goes to Alkmaar will have a good time. But I think West Ham fans' priorities now are to try and get one of those 5,000 tickets, or maybe a couple of thousand more on top.
You're not yet. You're not there yet, Moose. I remember going over to the Olympic Stadium.
Didn't you?
Yes, 81, and they give us a bit. We were cream crackered, and they give us a real lesson. They did. They ended up beating us 4-2, but luckily we'd beaten them 3-0 at Portman Road, so we went through.
By the way, what was all that about? Are you UEFA Cup over 2 legs?
I know.
That was utterly ridiculous, wasn't it?
I know. Anyway, Moose, what about Declan? 120 million we're talking about now, might be even a little bit more. Is Declan worth that in your mind? You're West Ham through and through.
Listen, the pragmatic person in me says Declan's worth what someone will pay for him. Is he worth 100 million quid? I wouldn't take a penny less than 100 million quid.
Right.
The only problem is you've got the situation whereby if nobody comes up with that money this summer, then you could leave him for nothing or for a lot less. He's definitely going. I mean, that's the one thing you would say, and I don't think any West Ham fan would sit here and moan about Declan Rice is leaving, it's a disgrace, blah blah. He is given 4 or 5 years to the club as a senior pro. He's been captain for the last 2 or 3 years, played over 200 games, came through the academy. I mean, he's done everything he can for West Ham, and it's time for West Ham to let him go to a club
a London team. We wear red.
Yeah, he's going to Arsenal. That's what I've been told.
Is that what?
But I mean,
Miss, I've got to break. Sorry, mate. Enjoy the Eurovision, pal. Wave your flags with your lovely daughters there.
Eurovision?
Yeah, you're watching that. You'll be watching that.
You'll be sitting there all comfy. Here we go, kiddos.
You can watch it around Sam's house if you want.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.